September 1992. Heat rippled through the streets of Palm Springs as I clocked out from a draining night shift at the Center for Disabled Kids. I staggered out of the building, exhaustion carving deep lines into my face, my legs heavy as lead. Suddenly, there he is, waiting. Andrew Erdiales. A charming guy who'd given me a ride the night before when I missed the bus. His offer to drive me home again was like a lifeline thrown to a drowning woman. Grateful, I accept. Inside the car, it's different. The charm slips away as a knife is pressed to my throat. My heartbeat surges, slamming against my ribcage like a drumbeat of fear. His knuckles whiten as he tightens his grip on the wheel. I'm bound, helpless, my terror mirroring in the cruel glint of his eyes. The urban sprawl of Palm Springs gives way to the remote desert, its vast emptiness swallowing me whole. Once in the desert, he removes the knife, only to replace it with a gag. The cloth tastes like fear and old sweat, and it silences my screams. His hands are rough and merciless as they strike my face, my body. I can feel my consciousness slipping away, retreating from the torment. His blows came down like rain, sharp, brutal, leaving me gasping for breath. I had never felt such pain, such sheer terror. The coarse desert sand clung to my tear-streaked face as he forced me to the ground. Every scream, every plea, seemed to fuel his sadistic pleasure. He violated me repeatedly, it felt like an endless nightmare. In between the attacks, he left me to whimper in the sand, probably to relish the sight of his work. My body was a tableau of pain and despair, and I feared the worst was yet to come. Once he'd had his fill, Erdiales decided to be done with me. He forced me to stand and walk back to his car. Gasping for air, my legs carried me forward, propelled by a surge of adrenaline and an unyielding will to survive. The harsh desert wind whipped against my battered body, adding to the overwhelming sense of vulnerability that engulfed me. Each step was a painful reminder of the atrocities I had endured. He bundled me back into the trunk of his car. He had decided to dispose of me, to erase all evidence of his monstrous act, shutting me into the inky darkness. My world reduced to the cold metal shell around me, the bitter taste of fear mingling with the grit in my mouth. But in that darkness, my fingers stumbled upon hope, a release mechanism. I could escape, but I had to be smart. I had to wait for the right moment. As the car slowed down, I knew it was now or never. With every ounce of strength left in me, I pushed the trunk open and rolled out onto the road. And then, with a raw scream tearing from my throat, I ran. As I stumbled onto the road, the truck with the Marines screeched to a halt, their bewildered expressions reflecting the shock and concern that etched my face. They were like guardian angels, offering solace and a glimmer of hope. Their eyes met mine, filled with empathy and determination. I knew I was no longer alone in this fight. I collapsed, the reality of my escape setting in. My captor was nowhere to be seen. He had disappeared into the shadows, like the vile creature he was. For 5 years, I relived the nightmare in my head. 5 years until Erdiales was finally captured. I had survived.